So, if I ask you what movie do you think could be enjoyed by anyone, and I mean anyone, from a 6-year-old that is still learning how to pronounce their names correctly to your grandfather telling you conspiracy theories about how the moon landing is fake and that the earth is a cube, you may think, oh, The Avengers, or Interstellar, or Titanic, and while those are great movies in their own right, for me it's this movie, Real Steel. Like seriously, I bet you $0 that you can't have a bad time while watching this movie. And one of the reasons for that is the main character of this movie, Charlie Kenton, aka, well, the main character. Now, Charlie, the main character of this movie, isn't really anything new, at least in terms of writing, because I'm pretty sure a struggling man who managed to get himself to where he wanted by rediscovering himself isn't anything new. But it doesn't need to be, because all they need to do is just make Charlie compelling and likable so that us as the audience root for him. And what do you know? The movie does just that, and it does it in a very unique way. You see, Charlie, like all great characters, have flaws, and by flaws I mean he's a little scummy. He keeps borrowing money that he knows he can't pay back so that he can keep doing his robo-fight hobby. And also, not only that, the first thing that he did when he met his son for the first time after 11 years of absence is trying to make a quick profit out of it so that he can buy another robot that he later on would trash again. So yeah, you could say that Charlie's kinda deadbeat dad and a terrible robo-boxer. And might I also add that he's a little arrogant, cocky, and reckless. Now, Charlie maybe isn't the best role model for a dad. Heck, even I would recommend him to be a friend.
One more step, I'll drop you like your girlfriend.
And so I know what you're thinking. How the heck am I supposed to root a guy who'd sell his own kid to buy a freaking robot? Well, great question, and the answer to that is simple. We see him change, or in other words, a character arc. And what do people enjoy doing besides subscribing to me right now? Well, watching a satisfying journey of a character that just feels natural and doesn't feel like it's trying to push a certain agenda or something. Now, Charlie in this movie, like I said before, starts off as a little scummy. Like literally at the start of the movie, we see him owing multiple people money, and on top of all that, he backed out of a deal that he freaking made himself. And it just gets worse from there, because Charlie found out that his ex died, which means that his kid is his responsibility now. But Charlie's ex's sister wants to adopt Max, but to do that, Charlie needs to sign a paper which do so. And of course, Charlie being Charlie, he sees an opportunity to make some cash by literally selling Max. Basically 100 grand for custody over a child. Gotta say, not a bad deal. But yeah, anyways, Charlie's character don't start to change until he almost loses Max. You can tell that in this scene, Charlie let himself be vulnerable for a bit where he comforts Max after he just experienced probably his first near-death experience. Who needs coffee when you have a near-death experience adrenaline going through your veins? But yeah, in this scene we get a peek of Charlie's more compassionate side. And I think it's pretty interesting to see, cause the second he reverts back to his usual self, he kinda freaked out and just left Max at the edge of the mud hill. Like bro, you just saved the child from a landslide because he was reckless. And then you decide that the best possible decision after that is just to ditch him because he wants to get the robot that's stuck under the mud. Like, bro, the reason you came to this place is to find parts to build a robot. And then when there's a fully built robot literally in front of you, you decide that you're done? Like, what? But yeah, for this scene, Charlie's character took a turn for the better as he finally realizes that he kept losing not because his robot sucks, but it's because whenever he fights, he always gets cocky and underestimates his opponent. We see it in the ambush fight at the beginning of the movie where he underestimates the bull that he's fighting and gets his legs torn off. Then of course, he got Noisy Boy as a replacement, or I guess should I say an upgrade from Ambush. Now, Noisy Boy is not your typical ordinary robot. Back in his glory days, he was fighting in the WRB, which is sort of like the professional boxing for robots, so surely with this robot he would win, right? Well, he was dominating Midas at the start, but again, due to his cockiness and arrogance, he went in there half-baked. He didn't even know what half of Noisy Boy's moveset does.
You had no idea how to fight that fight. Those combination codes, you didn't even know what half of them even meant. You just threw them in there cocky and half-assed.
And now when he gets Adam, the robot that he didn't even want because, well, it's just a sparring bot, it's made to endure punches, not deal any significant punches, that's when he finally starts to rediscover himself. And whether Charlie realizes it or not, he and Adam have something in common, which is that they endure. Now, to make sense what I said there, let me give you a little history lesson. Back in the day, when boxing was with meat on meat instead of metal on metal, Charlie was set to fight a boxer. Now, this boxer is supposed to be the main event, and his fight with Charlie is supposed to be just a warm-up fight. But nobody told Charlie that, and so he just kept coming, and even though Charlie lost at the end, he didn't go down without a fight.
He just kept coming at him. Check this out. That's Charlie. First, Nico couldn't believe the balls on this nobody, but Charlie kept coming, and that's when Nico looked scared.
And the same thing goes with Adam when he was fighting Zeus. The only difference is even though Adam still lost the title of the winner, he still won the title of the People's Champion.
People's champion? Sounds pretty good to me.
And who was controlling Adam? Charlie. It just goes to show that it's not about who has the better bot or who has the latest tech, it's about pure hard work and dedication. Like, just look at Adam's 2 fights in the WRB. If I ask you who has the better bot, in each of those 2 fights, it's always the opponent, not Adam. And while at first they dominate Adam, in both of the fight, Charlie always finds an opening and finishes them off. And before we go any further, I want to point out how Adam is just a reflection of Charlie. The reason why after he got Adam he started winning is because it's literally Charlie fighting in the ring. Because when he got Adam, Adam's just a blank slate. And so he had to program his moves into Adam, creating this mystical bond between man and machine. Which brings me to my second reason on why this movie could literally be enjoyed by anyone, which is the sheer fun watching this movie. I mean, come on, this movie starts off with a bot fighting a bull rodeo style, and if you think that it can't get any better than that, then you would be wrong. Because then we got a mohawk robot decapitating a purple samurai robot. And then we got a... Is that even legal in boxing? But in all seriousness though, this movie is the definition of a Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie. Cool and unique bot design? Check. Interesting set of characters? Check. Entertaining robo fight? Check. And yeah, just think that this movie is just a simple and fun movie. And also, speaking of simple and fun, do you know what else is simple and fun? The plot of this movie. This movie is about the redemption of a washed out boxer, aka Charlie, that just so happened to include a bit of robo sci-fi. Yeah, pretty simple, right? And that simplicity is what makes this movie so fun and rewatchable. Like, if anyone asks you what this movie is about, you just have to say Rock'em Sock'em Robot with a bit of redemption and second chances sprinkled all over it. Now, the next thing that makes this movie so great is the unique design of the robots. Like, seriously though, the bot design here never feel like it's out of place or make you say, oh, that wouldn't work in real life. And that's due to 2 things. The first one being whoever designed the robots for this movie is just so damn talented, and the second one is that the CGI and animation is just top notch. And I know that CGI gets a bad rep for its overusage in movies nowadays, but if you actually give the artist enough time and planning, then it would enhance your experience watching the movie instead of, well, this. And I think Real Steel does it so well because they did what Transformers do, which is blending practical effects and computer-generated effects together seamlessly. Now, I'm not saying that an all green screen movie couldn't work. I mean, just look at both of the Avatar movies. None of what you see in the movie is real, except for maybe the humans on screen, but everything else are all CG. So yeah, I think this just goes to show that CGI is just a tool, and when used properly, the results would boost the enjoyment of the movie instead of, well... Another thing that I want to point out is that, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever the camera just zooms in on Adam, or like just sticks to Adam's face for a while, it almost feels like Adam's alive and understands what's happening around him. Especially with scenes like this.
Can you understand me? Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
Or this. It almost seems like the movie is trying to set up something for a sequel. And not gonna lie, I hope that doesn't happen, because even though Real Steel 2 sounds like a good idea, Real Steel as it is right now with its ending is already a great conclusion to Charlie's story. And even though I don't really dislike the idea of a sequel, I'm just worried that it's gonna turn out like Uprising, where everything good in the first movie just went down the drain. Like a wise man once said, a sequel to a great movie is either gonna turn out like Terminator 2 or another Uprising. And I think that Real Steel is one of those movies where it's just better off untouched. But you know what's better off not untouched? That subscribe button. But yeah, in all seriousness though, I do think that Real Steel just don't need a sequel, cause it's just perfect as it is. But anyways, to sum up everything I said, Real Steel is just a great movie that could be enjoyed by anyone because of its simple and easy to understand world and story, with an entertaining set of characters, and when you watch this movie, trust me, you will feel joy when the bots are fighting, sympathetic when Charlie takes a beating, and proud when he's winning. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing that I want to talk about before we end the video, which is the chemistry between Max and Charlie. Like, I don't think the movie would have been this good if they don't have such a good chemistry or bond or whatever you want to call it. Because yes, even though I do think the story is just great overall, I think it wouldn't have worked if, for example, Charlie got replaced by another actor or Max got replaced by another actor. Because, well, I don't know, they just have such a good chemistry. But with that said, this is where I'm going to end the video. Hopefully you guys find it entertaining, and as always, thanks for watching, and see ya.